So I'm Angela Cox, and I am the founder of Paseda360. And the team and I are absolutely over the moon that we've picked up this award. We call it Shaking Our Pom-Poms. And we've had very much a shaking of the pom-poms moment when the Glass Award came through. It's fabulous. Thank you.
Could you provide an overview of your career journey that ultimately led to you becoming the founder of Paseda360, along with a brief description and history of the business?
I can indeed. So I did, like many people, a corporate career first before I set up a business. So I did 20 years in corporates and consulting, was kind of the promotion collector. So, had this aspiration to get to the top of the organizations and almost like exhausted myself trying to do that. But I did do that and I got to the top. And then when I got to the top, I was like, oh, is this it then? Is this how life is going to be? Because you feel, or I felt like I was owned by the organization. And it came to a tipping point, I suppose, about 2017. I wrote a book called Enough. And that book became a bestseller. And it was before the time when I even knew that you could orchestrate a bestseller by choosing the right categories. I mean, I was completely oblivious. And this book became the turning point for me realizing that there must be something more to life than this. And there must be something more to life when you're able to be yourself at work rather than be what everybody else wants you to be. And so I just found myself resigning one day from this really big job that I had that paid loads of money. And I went home and said to my husband, I've resigned. I said, don't worry, by the time the morning comes, I'm going to have figured out what I'm going to be doing instead. And come 2018, so just a few months later, I launched a coaching business, Angela Cox Coaching, and started to coach people one-to-one, something that I'd always been pretty good at. But I recognised that whilst I was good at it, didn't mean that I fully knew how to do it. So I then went on this learning journey, going to different universities, doing different diplomas and masters and loads of different methodologies. A badge collector. See the theme? I was kind of one of them in corporate. I'm still one of them in my coaching career. But that badge collecting allowed me to understand what works in coaching and what doesn't work in coaching, where the rules are stupid and where actually they could be changed. And then my husband had a brain injury. It's a bit of an X Factor moment this, we need the music in the background. He had a brain injury maybe 2.5 years ago now. And that became a catalyst for change again. So it was in that moment where I'm sort of sitting on the kitchen floor in a heap while he's in hospital and our whole life's falling apart, where I thought, again, there must be more to life than me just coaching people one-to-one. And how do I create something that, number one, exists when I'm not there? So if I'm not coaching, I don't earn money. How do I create that legacy for me and my family? But also, how do I create something that takes all these stupid roles of coaching, turns them all on their head, and teaches other people to coach in this rule-breaking way that I do? And suddenly Paseda360, that nobody can pronounce, came into my head. I mean, my mum calls it Paseda360. But it just came to me like a bolt out of the blue. And that was back in 2022, October. And we launched in January 2023 with our first program. And it has literally just taken off and been the most incredible journey since. So I'm like literally now knee deep into it, loving it, changing people's lives. And those coaches that are learning our method can then go and change other people's lives. And it just feels like that thing that is always going to be bigger than me is now happening.
What would you say is one of the main challenges you've overcome as founder of Paseda360? And what advice would you give to someone who is maybe looking to enter the business training and education industry?
Well, first one with tongue in cheek would be definitely call it something that people can pronounce. The name Paseda, I've got to tell you this story quickly, came from writing down the 6 outcomes that clients will have when they experience the method. And then I played countdown, with the first letter of each of those 6 outcomes. And it came out with Espada, which when I looked it up meant Lamborghini. And I thought, oh, that's a bit flash. Go back to the countdown board. And then Paseda came out. So I Googled that, and it meant getting under the skin of what's really going on around here and finding the authentic self. And I was like, that's what it's got to be called. Only nobody can pronounce it. So if you're going to set up a business of your own, make it something people can pronounce. That would be number one challenge over. And I guess, taking tongue out of cheek now and being a bit more serious, that I face challenges and the team face challenges daily in running a business. I mean, it kind of is part and parcel. But I think when you're being a trailblazer, which I am attempting to do in terms of taking what's there already and deciding how we could do that differently to better serve people in the future, when you're a trailblazer, you're kind of constantly facing into headwinds all the time. And you have to have a certain amount of self-belief about why you're doing that to keep on course when things come along that try and knock you off course. So I think we need to really align as business owners to why we're doing it, first of all, and get very clear about that why. And then know who it is you're going to be helping as a result. And for me, it's coaches who are coming in to learn our method. But bigger than that, the ripple effect of the people that they then help and the people that they have in their lives that are impacted by this method. So that's my why and who. And other business owners need to get the why and the who before they figure out the what and the how. And usually people figure out the what and the how and they've not got the why and the who. And then when the headwind comes, they're off track and they want to throw in the towel and don't want to do it anymore. So figure out your why, figure out your who, and then stay on track when the headwind comes, because there's going to be no wind great enough to knock you off path when you're connected to that why.
Yeah, I think that is phenomenal advice, to be honest with you, especially saying that, like what you're saying, trailblazing, you are going to be the one that going into that headwind without anyone helping. So it is great to hear that you are very much ready for that challenge. And like you're saying, it's every day. It's not just, today's an easy one and tomorrow's an easier one. It is always, there's different challenges that pop up every day. And like you say, you have to make sure that you're ready for the crucial of why you're doing this in the first place kind of thing, and the who you are going to do it for. So it's phenomenal to hear. And obviously, like you're saying, it's managed now succeeding this team. And like I said, it's been hitting off since 2023. What would you attribute as the main reason for the business's success?
I just want to say you're a phenomenal listener, Trem. And I hope you leave this bit in the video, because your ability to replay everything that I've just said with clarity is astonishing. So
Thank
just
you very
big
much.
up to you, which gave me time to think about my answer there. I think I'm a big believer in earning trust in relationships, whether that's a relationship with someone who doesn't know you on social media that is in your following, or whether that's a relationship between someone you've known for a long time. I feel like trust is the foundation stone for which great things can happen. And when I think about trust, I think about the trust equation. And the trust equation from Charles Green is all about credibility, intimacy, and reliability. And we've kind of built Paseda360 around those principles of seeking to earn trust by demonstrating credibility, intimacy, and reliability. And I really feel like that's been the underpinning of our success so far, because we really care about the people that come in. And I take it personally when things go wrong. When you're running a new business, things go wrong pretty much every day because you've not really thought through things properly and the flows and different things. So I just kind of tackle that authentically with that essence of caring underneath it. We're dead honest and authentic when we do mess up. And that then really builds that trusting relationship. So then people go off and they tell people about you. And before you know it, then somebody else is at the door saying, I want to come in because my friend said you're really nice and good and I want to be part of it. Whether that means that we will continue to grow, I don't know. I really hope it does. But for me, that's the absolute foundation of what a great business is.
And that kind of goes into our award, which is that you won the Newcomer Training Provider of the Year from our Business Training Education Awards. Since winning that award, I know it's still the early days, but how would you say that's affected your business both internally and externally?
Well, internally, I'm talking about the team. We have a team, it's a very small team, and we're disparate. So we very rarely meet each other. We've got Thomas in Barcelona with Andrea. We've got Orly out in the Philippines. We've got Catherine's in Norfolk and I'm in Chichester. But as a team, winning an award is like one of those things that gives us the validation, I suppose, that you don't really get a lot of when you're running a business, because you might get a review on Google from a client, which is always a pom-pom moment. But a lot of the time what you're faced with are the things that are going wrong. So when you have a moment where you're recognized for something that means such a lot to you, it really gives us a lift as a team and, gives us more strength to face into those headwinds. So it's been fabulous from that regard. And then I guess externally, if we go back to the trust equation and the credibility part of the trust equation, it's another stamp of credibility. So, we have our accreditations from the different bodies that are out there, like the ILM, etc. And that's one thing. But to be recognised by judges as being the front runners in this arena is another part of that credibility badge. And, marketing is a core part of any business, and you've got to be able to attract clients. And before they know who you are, having those things on your website, having those things on your social media helps them to take that step towards trusting you before they've got to know you. So for me, this is the reason why we enter awards. It's because it's so important to build that credibility. So it's great to have this one, and it looks really beautiful as well, as you said earlier.
I'm glad that we are making sure that we're placed on your mantle very nicely. And we always say that it gives a lot of people a moment to be able to look back at what they've done throughout the year, and like you say, maybe look back at everything that has become into part of this, from leaving your job, from all of these kind of negatives, and then kind of like going into forming this business, and you can kind of review and go, well, it's all been worth it, kind of thing, because we can look back at what we've done and what we achieved, and you can kind of just go, oh, that is why that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing it.
It's judged as well. I think that's the other thing. I get emails, Trem, weekly from organisations that say to me, you've won an award. And I go, have I? I haven't even entered an award. What award have I won? And then they'll go, you're this of the year. And now what you need to do is pay me, £27,000 and you'll get a 2-page spread in X, blah, 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 blah. And I'll go, because I like to just kind of entertain these people, I'll say, who's judged the awards? And of course, there are no judges because it's just a marketing thing. And for me, this organisation set out really clearly who the judging panel is, who's going to be looking at the things. You had to put your entry forward. You had to really think about what you're writing in your entry. And that then brings the credibility for me. So I think it's the credibility of your organisation as much as it is the credibility of us winning the award.
As an award winner, would you recommend Business Awards UK to other businesses?
Yeah, because the thing that I like about it is there is something for everyone, isn't there? Because there's all different sectors for the awards that you run throughout the year. So, if you were, I don't know, in technology, for example, I'm sure you've got an award category for them that is different to the training one. Because what we tend to have are lots of general awards, don't we? Where you could be the AI person of the year or the coach of the year and being judged by the same panel. And you think, well, how do they know about the difference between someone in AI and coaching? What you do is you take each sector or each industry and you have an awards program for each of those. And for me, that just makes a lot of sense. So people should just come and have a look at what you do and how you do it, and, decide whether it's right for them.
What would you say is the next big step for yourself and Paseda360?
Oh, so we've already launched our coach club. We've already launched our advanced practitioner, and we've had coaches through each of those programs. Our next steps are still build steps. So we're building our diploma, which will be launched towards the end of this year, and then getting ready to launch our coaches as leaders program in early part of next year. So we're sort of growing, but we're also building new products and services that people can be involved in. And it's all just about earning that trust, really, by bringing really good quality programs that people think, oh, this is a bit different. I want to be part of that. And that words part of are important, because the essence of Paseda360 is all about belonging. So it's, you come and train with us, but it's not just a training experience. We then don't just desert you at the end of the training course. You're then part of our community, and we nurture you through. And part of our next few years is all about growing and nurturing those coaches so that they have as much confidence and credibility, and they're winning awards further down the line.
Yeah, I think that is like you're saying, you're going to have yourself some more headwinds coming your way, but it sounds like you're very much ready for those challenges. And it sounds like you're saying, you want to build that community up as much as possible. And that kind of goes into our last bit of, if you want to build this community up, and I'm sure a lot of people watching the video might be wanting to join that community, where can they find you, Angela, if they want to be a part of that community?
Oh, that's a good question. And now you have to be able to spell it and say it, don't you? So Paseda360.com is our website. I'm sure Trem will put the actual link to that, then you don't have to spell it. You can always find us on the website. I'm hugely available on LinkedIn. So through my own profile, Angela Cox, but we also have the business page there as well, Paseda360 Global Training Academy. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on all the social platforms. Just get in touch. Have a look at the website. Get in touch and just come and join our free community, first of all, so you can check us out. If you're meant to find us, you will do. I'm a big believer in that. You'll click on the links and you'll make it happen.
Lovely. Well, that sounds like, I'll make sure to put those links in the description. And again, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Angela. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, it's been a joy. Thanks for your time, Trem.